Hey guys, Dylan here. Valentine's Day right around the corner. I'm sure everyone is feeling great and lovey-dovey feelings. Well, I'm going to make you feel the exact opposite the day before. We are going to be looking at Chris's Unclit. Now, for those of you guys who don't know Chris Chan stuff, you are going to be quite terrified of this. The Unclit was what Chris called a small piercing on his taint or perineum in clinical terminology. What's known as a Gucci piercing among body modification enthusiasts, he had apparently gotten it as a fair substitute for a clitoris, indicating that Chris believes that the clitoris is located on a woman's perineum. It seems that Chris's knowledge of female anatomy wasn't noticeably improved by his encounters with Mia Hamm, which is the prostitute he had sex with, which I covered last year if you're curious about that. Chris's rationale for getting his Unclit also included an introduction to the sex lives of female bonobos. I have no idea what the fuck that is, and I don't want to know. After a couple weeks, the piercing began to migrate out of Chris's body, what the fuck, in a process referred to as rejection. Instead of letting the area heal before a second attempt, Chris immediately tried to re-pierce it with a safety pin, which is extremely not good. You can get staph infection like that. This rather predictably resulted in the migration worsening. And even after going to a professional and having it redone again, which third time is the charm, I guess, his body still rejected it, showing that Chris's insanity is rejected by even his body. And Katie eventually convinced Chris to give up on the piercing altogether. Factoring the 2 professional piercings and 2 items of jewelry, Chris wasted a grand total of $200 of his monthly tugboat on this. That's $200 from the government wasted on this stupid endeavor. September 18th, Facebook status. Well, a whole half month without a new update on the Trolls website. I was hoping for longer than that. And I was going to make a public announcement about it anyway, but the cat is out of the bag now. Anyway, I had something done to me that is radical, and his random capitalizations makes me want to die, that I did for my lesbian soul. I got a new piercing on my taint on Monday the 15th, about where my clitoris would be. That's not where it would be if I was a woman. It was a short steel straight piece with steel spheres, which is pretty normal for a piercing, of which I refer to them as my Unclit. That's not how that works. I am tending to its cleaning personally, which it got infected, so no, you weren't, in daily baths. It should just be showers. Baths will make it worse, as well as cleaning the area with rubbing alcohol twice a day. I don't know if that'll help. Kristen Weston Chandler. Wait, why'd he go with Christian? I thought he would go with Christine if he was already saying he was a woman. I guess that's a fucking Freudian slip. With no other outside options from anyone, have been long thinking about getting a piercing on my taint with a steel sphere where my clitoris would be, which that's not where it would be if I was born female. In my soul identity as female, which he identifies as a woman by his ghost, he's not like a normal trans person where they just feel like they were born the wrong gender. No, he thinks his ghost is a woman and a lesbian as fair substitute for that, to stimulate woman's clitoris via scissoring. God, Chris, you are so fucking clueless. Years ago, after watching the lesbian couple tripping each other, which I didn't need to know, Chris, in the softcore porn movie, The Key to Success. Thank you, Chris, for telling me what porn you watch. And for those who didn't know about tripping, it is commonly known as scissoring. You don't need to tell me. Is when one woman and her vulva rub against the other woman's vulva. Yes, Chris, I know how scissoring works, to stimulate each other's clitoris. In fact, there are clits that actually stick out. You know what, Chris? You know what? People also put on strap-ons, which is a giant fucking pickle. So, and I know you know about that. So why don't you bring that up? Is it because you don't like dicks penetrating the labia and better stimulating the other clitoris? The female bonobo monkeys have long clits. You have no idea what the fuck you're talking about. And they trib the other females' bonobos a lot of the time. And to make sure everyone understands once and for all, I am a female lesbian soul trapped in a male body. Or, to put it another way, I am my own lesbian transgender. He thinks that he is trans lesbian, not transgender. He thinks he is trans lesbian. This is how seriously you should take him whenever he says anything regarding his gender. I am seriously into women. Males offend me. Even my own penis totally grosses me out. I am glad that I tuck it underneath my taint so that I don't have to look down at that ugly bulge. Well, that's not good for you either. That can cause damage. I have come out as lesbian transgender that I always have been, ever will, and every one of you sods who continue to mislabel me as homosexual male, which you most likely are, or hint toward anything of that in distasteful jest, you can kiss my vagina of my soul. That is fucking stupid. Have a good day. And in case you didn't watch my last video, Chris is bi now, so all that is bullshit. Despite the obvious violating the community guidelines, as well as being reported by concerned Facebook users, Facebook decided that no part of this status was considered pornographic enough to warrant being removed. Chris appeared to have either gotten very bad advice about caring for his new piercing, like I fucking said, or gotten good advice and ignored it. No knowledgeable body piercing provider would suggest cleaning fresh piercing with rubbing alcohol. Yeah, I thought that sounded wrong, which is far too harsh of a solvent. Yeah, I thought it would be really fucking irritated if he did that. Chris's misguided aftercare regimen likely contributed to the piercing's rejection. It could be a lot of things. It could be the baths he was doing, too. That isn't good. Re-piercing the unclit. On the 4th of December 2014, an update was released on the CWCki forums that Chris had re-pierced his taint. The new piercing jewelry was apparently made of gold. I got a gold barbell jewelry pierce, and I will be getting it re-pierced later today. Yes, Chris, it was the type of metal that made it get rejected. Let's pray that in a month this one does not go migrating either. I am sending caring vibes and love your way. Have a lovely and safe day. Re-piercing so soon after the first attempt was considered most unwise, as first migration had almost no time to heal, and many trolls were concerned of Chris's lack of general hygiene would lead to him risking septia, which is yet again septic shock, like I said earlier. 5 days later, it was revealed that in addition to the new piercing, Chris was wearing a strap-on harness with a dildo removed. That is the exact opposite of the joke I made earlier, and that's hilarious, to conceal his duck. While he wore woman's clothing that raised the additional... I'm pretty sure you can get penis tucks. I'm pretty sure they make those, Chris. You didn't have to go to that extreme. While he wore women's clothing, this raised additional concerns about the cleanliness of the pierced region. The end of the unclit. I have an update just to let you know. The patch of skin jewelry was shrinking again. I just removed the barbell spheres and I'm giving up on the piercing now. And that was Chris giving up on doing this stupid idea. A message from Chris leaked to the CWCki forums on December the 12th showed that he had removed the piercing due to the patch of skin the jewelry was in shrinking again, presumably referring to another migration. He stated that he would give up on the unclit. He was deeply disappointed with this outcome. However, on the CMIS 2014, still hoped that he could receive the gift of a magical transformation of the body from male to complete female, which is what he added into the comic with Magichan just zapping away penises. Santa seemingly did not oblige him, perhaps prompting Chris' malicious assault of a store employee on Boxing Day, and you know what that's referencing. Or is it? And then this hints at the new unclit, or him cutting open his taint, which maybe we'll talk about that a different day. We're going to just leave it here for now. Hopefully you guys learned something today. I learned a few things that I already knew, which was Chris knows nothing about female anatomy or cleanliness, but hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you guys for watching. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you really like it, share it. And if you want to see more, then subscribe. Happy early Valentine's Day, and see you guys next time. Bye. Before the credits roll, I thought I'd give a shout out to my multiple ways of making money. YouTube is starting to slowly sanitize the platform, making it harder for people to make money on edgier content like I do. So I'm reminding you guys that I have a Patreon. The Patreon has plenty of reward tiers, including seeing my podcast early and possibly getting onto the show if I can fit that into the schedule. I have video recommendation tiers that you can try to get into, and if Patreon isn't your thing, I now sell merchandise. This month we have Sonichu and Rosachu Valentine's Day themed shirts, sweatshirts, and hoodies. And if all else fails and my YouTube falls apart, I always have a BitChute account. So remember to check out all these different things in the description below.